Horsing Around, brought to you by Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, dressing Northeast Kansas their Western best for over 57 years.
Good morning and welcome to the show. We're doing jumping jacks to stay warm. And,
we are.
We are. It's kind of chilly in here. If it's chilly for us, it's probably cold for horses.
Yeah.
Let's talk about lights. And this is something that we were kind of talking off camera about that I didn't know about, keeping our horses under lights.
Yeah, a lot of people that compete with their horses, or if they ride year-round and they have the facilities to keep their horse out of the wind and out of the elements and keep it blanketed, like to keep their horses under lights. And how they do that is they actually extend the daylight to trick the horse's body to thinking that the days are longer, like we see in the spring and summer. They'll extend that daylight up to 16 hours. Now this only works if you have a bulb that's at least 200 watts or brighter and there's no dark corners for them to hang their head in the stall. You're going to see this horse shed out within 45 days. It's probably going to be completely shed off and slick. So you're going to have to blanket this horse. It's not fair to throw them out in the cold slick like their summer coat. So yeah, it's a really interesting topic and it's interesting to do. And some breeders also use it to bring their mares into heat and cycle back like they do in the spring.
Winter grooming. We were just talking about having them under lights and shedding out. How difficult is it if we're going to have them shed out to maintain that that grooming during the winter?
Well, water's an issue. Even if you have a water heater, water's always going to be an issue with them because it cools them off. They're going to get chilled, and when it's colder out, they aren't going to dry off as fast. So there's a variety of options you can do. You can use different products that are waterless products to clean them, or you can use, you can take a rag and a sponge and go out and just kind of spot treat them as you need to. But we're going to see horses in the winter are actually going to be a little bit dirtier than in the summer, because the days when it's warm out, that coat that protects them at night when it's cold and chilly out, it's actually going to be too warm for them, and they might spend some of their time sweating. And we're going to have to deep clean, and when they have that much coat, we're gonna have to get in there and deep clean and rough up those dead skin cells and get them cleaned off, but we're not gonna be able to do it with water. So we're really gonna have to take some time in our grooming routine, maybe a little bit more than we would in the summer.
And bedding comes into play in this, I'm sure.
Yeah, it absolutely does, keeping your horse clean. It's a health concern for your horse that they're not standing in manure, and for their hooves and for their respiratory system. And also, there's a variety of options you can have with your bedding. A lot of breeding farms prefer straw because of the safety to the foal, where they can't inhale like the shavings and the sawdust and the things like that. The most important thing with bedding is that it's safe and that it's dry for them. We're trying to keep their stalls dry and keep that moisture out of there. The mats are a great option. Some people keep their horses on concrete, and that's very hard on their joints, and it causes friction when they're getting up and down, and it causes a lot of stress on their joints. So these mats offer some cushion for them to stand on all day. It's just like us, standing on concrete all day, we'd be sore too. So those mats are a great option.
And if we can't get them into a barn, let's build some windbreaks. Is that another case?
Yeah, absolutely. This winter hair and this winter coat that they have is thick and furry, but when the wind blows and it parts that hair, they're cold and chilled again. And anytime you see your horse shivering or shaking or their flanks quivering, they do need some protection from that wind. And anytime they become wet, that also limits, how warm they can stay with that winter coat, and it takes a long time for it to dry out. So at least a 3-sided shelter is what, we would recommend for the winter time.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Good to see you.